И снова здравствуйте, мои уважаемые зрители.
Hello again, my dear viewers. In the yard we have the 17th of April, and the traditional review of events from the fronts of the Ukrainian war. What is happening on the fronts today? Short. North direction. Everything is unchanged there. Third day. The Ukrainian armed forces are not a nightmare for the Russian Bryansk, Kursk, and Belgorod regions. Very similar that the leadership in Kiev, after all, heeded the words of the Russian leadership, that if this continues, then the blow will be dealt already on them. Accordingly, there is silence in the Bryansk, Kursk, and Belgorod regions, and the leadership of Ukraine on them while no one is working. That is, everything is clear here. We pass to the Kharkiv direction. Here, according to the data which I received, the Russian troops have stepped up their actions and are working very seriously in the Dergachi area. Moreover, the actions Ukrainian side in this area somehow very quiet, and I absolutely do not exclude such a possibility that the city of Dergachi may come under Russian control. In general, the Kharkiv garrison in the last few days received several sensitive attacks on the locations of the headquarters of the units. And persistent rumors continue to circulate in the city that Russian troops may storm the city in the near future. No one will storm the city, I think, will not go, but activity in this area is more than likely. And the fighting in the Dergachi area speaks precisely about this. In the Izyum direction, Russian troops continue to grind Ukrainian units. The next dozens of prisoners of war, the next destroy units. And the fact that, for example, observers, my dear viewers, over the past 2 days, and many of my viewers communicate with people, with soldiers, in the Kharkiv region, in the Dnipropetrovsk region, those units of the Ukrainian armed forces that are moving forward now to the Barbankovo region, south of Izyum, Slavyansk, they are very scared. There are a lot of reservists among them, and their mood just depressed. Soldiers' word of mouth talk about the huge losses among the personnel, and people, in fact, go there already, as if they were going to cavalry. That is, they are dominated decadent moods, and if I were in the place of the Russian command, I would do a very important thing, it seems to me, that would simplify the situation, not only in the Donbass, but in general, along the entire length of the front. It is necessary to scatter leaflets as much as possible on the entire front line. So many soldiers today who have been mobilized against their will, handed machine guns into their hands, they are ready to surrender. They need to be shown the way how to do it right, and I think the matter will get off the ground, or rather it has already moved. As I said in yesterday's review, there are such precedents in the Zaporozhye region where now we need to do something to make it widespread. Moreover, the situation in Mariupol puts pressure on the Ukrainian troops. The remnants of the garrison this morning refused to lay down their arms, and essentially all calibers began to work on them. And there is information that heavy Russian aviation began to work on them, Tu-22. Exactly what we talked about before. I haven't told you anything new here. That is, the garrison has already been sentenced. The armed forces of Ukraine have been knocked out of residential areas, and now they are being rolled into concrete at Azovstal. Also, today it was noisy in the Popasna area, and today quite intense artillery strikes began in the Gorlovka area, in which they were suspended for some time. Again, very serious blows, Avdiivka, Zaporozhye region. That is, in fact, the entire Donbass front is already thundering. Artillery, aviation work. First of all, of course, the most fierce battle is taking place in the area south of Izyum, where the Ukrainian armed forces are moving all possible reserves in order to localize Russian attacking actions. As I already emphasized in yesterday's review, they are succeeding worse and worse. And primarily because that they obviously lack quality, battle-hardened troops. And the reservists, also obviously, cannot replace them. And yet, Russian troops are constantly increasing pressure on the rear, attacks are constantly being made on the places of accumulation of rear Ukrainian armed forces, in the Donbass region, southern Kharkiv region. Ukrainian soldiers cannot feel calm for a single day, not a single hour. Every day they wait for a hit. Every hour they threaten to be hit by missiles or Russian air bombs. This also adds to the fear of the Ukrainian military, many of which, I remind you, were recently mobilized against their will and sent to Donbass. And this is, in fact, a huge potential problem for the entire Ukrainian army. Everything can happen so that after the defeat in the Donbass, where they should be destroyed, first of all, the personnel troops that still remain, the Ukrainian armed forces may well crumble. This is about what I can say now, on the 17th of April. The next release is scheduled for tomorrow. Goodbye.
Следующий выпуск планируется завтра. До свидания.